Okay, great. I'm glad you're here. So first, I'm going to outline what we're going to be covering today in our training. So I've had hundreds of conversations with business owners and marketers that they know when they want videos to help execute their brands, but they don't know where to start. So creating good video content, it honestly takes time, it takes quality people on your team, and it takes a winning script. Plus, so many of you have been burned by video professionals that didn't really do or didn't execute as they promised. So we're gonna go through and we're gonna focus on how to build winning video scripts, but then also how to work with these people, these video professionals, to help keep their expectations where they need to be at in the quality level and to get them to execute as they need. Really what will happen is in the end, you're gonna walk away with a communication tool that's gonna keep everyone on your team on the same page and help you execute as you expect, which that is hugely powerful. Now to start, I'm gonna talk about the hook, which is fundamentally important. If you don't hook your audience at the beginning of your video, they're not gonna watch the rest of your message, so what's the point? The meat or the bulk of where we'll be spending our time today is going through at least three of my top video structures so that you can get the right mentality on how to build solid marketing videos. Now I'm gonna give you examples as well as walk you through the core structures of each of these. Once you see these video structures and how to use them, I'll then show you how to incorporate them into the scripting document that you're gonna get at the end of this training. Now I'm gonna walk you through the entire document and you'll see how to use it and how easy it's gonna make it for you to communicate with your team. But then I'm gonna talk a little bit about hiring local video professionals and how to get them to do what you need them to do and to be reliable. Now I wanna be respectful of your time, but I do need to explain why you should be listening to me. Over the last 20 years, I've personally been involved with tens of thousands of marketing campaigns and video projects. Not only have I personally filmed, edited, and animated videos, but I've also managed teams of filmers, editors, marketers, and I have seen my clients' businesses grow because of the videos that we've made for them. I spend my time now managing Socialized Video, where we create video content for clients all over the world. And I honestly feel like we're one of the few production groups that are out there that really appreciate and value good communication with our clients. Let's dive into what you actually came here for. Let's begin the training. The beginning of any video is incredibly important, especially in our media-driven world. This is where we're going to help the right people realize the value of watching the rest of the video, and the wrong people to skip the video entirely. I mean, you heard me right. If you're not repelling the wrong people, then you're wasting your ad money by talking to the wrong kinds of people. You have to pay attention to the first 5 to 15 seconds of any video. You need to hook your audience. I mean, Facebook even says that the first 3 seconds is really where it's at. My point that I'm making here is that you really only have a few seconds to say something that's going to grab their attention before they scroll on. In Brendan Kane's book called Hook Point, he says a hook point can be comprised of text, like a phrase, a title, or a piece of copy, an insight, maybe that's a statistic or a professional's point of view or a philosophy by a person's thought or something like that, a concept idea or format, like an image or a video that is really eye-catching, a personality or a performance, like something using music or acting, a product or service, or a combination of some or all of these elements. Honestly, talking about hook points can be a training all on its own, but let me give you a few things that you can do right now to figure out how to best start out your message. First, I personally like to find insights by talking to customers. By looking at testimonials or speaking one-on-one with your customers, you're gonna find particular statements that customers have made that you may not have realized before or you may not think of. They'll also use certain terminology that particularly relate to your other customers, that they're gonna connect with your other customers, that maybe it's terminology you don't use all the time. Often when people are doing a testimonial, they're trying to think of something clever that they can say so they don't sound dumb. And so when they kind of put their creative juices to flow there, they can come up with some unique statements and concepts that you may take and run with. It's kind of like getting the outside perspective, someone that's not necessarily in your circle to give you some ideas. For example, I was talking to another business owner and I was trying to understand what they were doing and how they explain what they do. And when they finished, I kind of said, "Oh, so you're kind of the non-financial planner." And that kind of struck them as, yeah, I am. I'm different. That really would catch people's attention. What is a non-financial planner? So starting with testimonials and then kind of going and expanding beyond, maybe talking to some other people that could give you an outside perspective, can bring in some unique concepts that help you hook people at the very beginning. Another way is to start out with a hint of the success or the solution that your product or service provides. It's going to catch their attention because it's something that they want and desire. It's also more on a positive note where it's connecting with those inner desires and hopes that they have and what they hope and want to be. Plus, if they don't want what you have to offer or what the success is, they're going to skip your ad. It's, again, something that won't cost you money because it doesn't relate to them. Now, the inverse of this is starting by talking about the core problem. It's kind of like the infomercial that you see late at night, where like the ones where you see a whole bunch of stacks of dirty dishes, it's black and white, and this person's scrubbing really hard, and the announcer says something like, "Are you tired of piles of dirty dishes after a meal?" I mean, starting out with the problem can quickly relate. People can see that and be like, yeah, I totally feel that. It enhances the pain that they're feeling, and they want to learn, like, how do I overcome this pain? Maybe you understand how to overcome it. Or you can start out with some statistical insight that's related to your video. The right data point can get someone saying, I didn't realize that. What else don't I know? What else can you teach me? In the end, your hook has to be quick. You only have a few seconds. Plus, they have to easily understand it. It can't be complicated. And then it has to be relatable to your audience. I also recommend making it visually stimulating by adding graphics or imagery at the same time. Like a talking head just like me, you want to put some graphics to the side of it. I also recommend taking a look at Brendan Kane's book, Hook Point. He gives a lot of great ideas and more concepts that you can use to help think and create ideas to help start your videos. Okay, now let's dive into the video structures. So what do I mean by video structures? For most, having a structure to follow can really help solve one of the biggest challenges that they have, and that is, what do I say and how do I say it? A structure can act as a guide. It gives you a base to follow. Then you can customize it to your needs. Also, a particular structure is usually connected to a specific purpose or goal for your video. Again, I think more people struggle or have issues because they lack the goal of why am I making this video in the first place? And they don't keep that center of mind throughout the production process. So you choose a certain structure to accomplish a certain action or a certain goal. Let's start with our first one so that you can get an idea of what I'm talking about here. A promotional video structure is really simple and it's a great one to start with. A promotional ad is typically short and right to the point. It contains some kind of offer or reason for the person to take action. The goal of the ad is to get the viewer to click, to get them to do something. The structure is pretty simple. You start with the hook, deliver your offer or your message, and then give a call to action, what they should do next. Let's start with a simple example by this chiropractor.
Hey Heber Valley, it's Dr. Nix. It's that time of year again with ice, snow, and fender benders. Far too many patients come in with back pain from these simple things. Did you know that an injury from a simple act such as shoveling snow can have lasting consequences if unchecked? Click the link below to find out what chiropractic can do for you and start moving and living better today.
The chiropractor realized that each year when the snow falls, he sees more back injuries because of shoveling and car accidents and those kinds of things. So he uses that to catch attention and to be relatable. Then he proceeds to give an offer or a reason why they should try him out. So he's giving a discount or some type of package for people that have back issues. It's short, it's to the point, it gives someone information on what they should do next to get the deal that he's offering, and it's a great way for him to give an influx of new patients into his business. These kinds of promotional videos, they're honestly great on Facebook when you use video view ads. Now, if they're under 15 seconds, you can actually get them to display in more places than the longer ads. However, most of the time, when we build ads like this, a promotional ad, we'll create a short 15-second version, and then we'll create a longer version that's somewhere between 20 and 60 seconds. Let me give you another example.
Do you have a dog, a dad, or a kid in your home? Chances are you need a great carpet cleaner. I'm Kerry with Floor Seasons. Check out our 5-star reviews on Google and Yelp. For the first 20 people, we're offering a 5-area carpet cleaning, normally valued at $249 for just $149. Click now to book this deal.
In this one, Floor Seasons starts out with a little tongue-in-cheek. He found out that most carpet messes come from pets, kids, and often the dad. So he brings that out in kind of the very first statement, which kind of catches attention typically of the housewife that would be hearing the offer. Then he goes on to make an offer that they can take advantage right now. Also notice one thing. He made an offer a bit more urgent by saying that the offer was good for the first 20 people. You can do similar things to drive urgency. Again, the goal of the ad is to get people to click and take action. One quick side note here. When you're looking at putting together your video shoots, adding a promotional ad here and there throughout your video shoot is really simple to do. Most of the footage that you're capturing during that video shoot is probably going to go to be useful for that promotional ad. You just need to capture a few sentences that then state your promotion. So the reason why I bring that up is when you're looking at being efficient through your video shoot, putting in a promotional statement here and there makes it so that you can create more content when you're done. So you can get more videos out of your shoot. Also, it's really important. Notice how both of these ads didn't really explain anything about like their features or their benefits or why their products or services are better than the competition. I mean, sure, they layered in some things that make them unique. I mean, using video, you can say a whole lot more. Like Heber Valley Chiropractor, they showed how they have a clean and inviting office or a location that they can come get treatment. Floor Seasons, they showed their vehicle in the background, which will help people when they're driving by and they see that vehicle remember the ad. However, they didn't take the time to explain why you should choose them over other options. Remember, a promotional, it can be tempting to put in more information in there, but the goal is just to get viewers to take action. So from a campaign standpoint, you may need to think strategically when you want to use a promotional ad versus other ads. For example, you may need to send out one ad that helps people understand your business and your service, then retarget with a promotional ad to then get them to take action, so that they have the context beforehand given in the previous video. So again, a promotional ad is very short, to the point. It offers some type of offer that gets people to take action. So let's look at our next structure, explainer videos. Most of you probably have already, or you need a main video that you can place on your website, giving an explanation of who you are and what value you provide. We call this an explainer, overview, or homepage video. The goal of the video is to give an intriguing overview of your brand. The best thing I can relate this to is like an elevator pitch, where you run into someone that you really want to talk to in the elevator. What are you going to say in those few minutes or seconds that you have to get their attention, to build intrigue? So same with an explainer video. What information can you put in there that will catch attention and help them understand what value you offer, as well as help you maintain or be memorable in the future? Now, Sam Horn gave a great TED Talk about how to be intriguing. I mean, this kind of goes along with hooking your audience at the very beginning. As she puts it, when you explain with intrigue, you get people to have their eyebrows go up. That's what you're looking to do in your explainer video. A common question that I get asked is, how long should this video be? How long should an explainer video be? Now, Wistia did some great research a few years ago that showed that the majority of people will watch a 2-minute video, as long as you hook them at the beginning and catch their attention. However, a lot of companies have been moving to 60 seconds. Now, the hypothesis here is that everyone will probably more than likely watch a 60-second video instead of scroll past it. So they're supposed to get the general idea and then hopefully go on to the next stage to get more information. In general, a 1 to 3 minute video is usually pretty good for your explainer. If you go to 5 to 10 minutes, you're pushing it quite a bit, and you better be really good stuff or you're gonna have a lot of drop off. An explainer video can take many forms, but in general, the structure starts with a hook. Then you introduce the company or the brand. Then you share core features or benefits or the value that you offer. And then you want to end with some type of call to action. So what should they do next to get more information or to learn more or take the next stage? You need to keep it concise. Every statement here counts. So don't say everything. Just say the most important information. Many people will make the mistake of trying to say too much, and they don't realize that there will be more video content further down the website or down the funnel that person will be able to consume to get more information. Here we're just trying to catch their attention, build intrigue, and have them want to walk through the door and learn more. Keep in mind, the production level, it's usually higher for an explainer video. Since this is usually the first video that someone's going to watch, you want to make a quality first impression. Now let's look at an example.
Hi, Particle here. Let's take a closer look at how our technology actually works. Over the years, there have been many approaches to building a layer of interoperability across the healthcare ecosystem. Fax machine empires, integration engine services, portal scrapers. Now that Particle has built the infrastructure, we're seeing a true network approach become possible. And today, Particle has connections with almost 300 million people's medical records through our API. So, how does it all work? Generally speaking, a customer interacts with our API by sending a set of demographics to search for. Particle packages this payload into network-compliant formats and distributes a search function using a proprietary logic-based record location service. Then we pass the payload to all the endpoints we think the patient may have been. The EMRs, or endpoints, then manage the matching on their end, erring on the side of safety by way of strict heuristics. When a match is found, the EMR will create and respond with a point-in-time document in the CCDA format to Particle. On average, Particle will find about 95 records per patient per search. We pull this data back into our system and do two things with it. Number one, We make the raw data available via our CCDA API. And number 2, we parse, standardize, and convert all the CCDA to FHIR R4 and make it available through our FHIR API. Now that we hold the data, you can retrieve either the full CCDA or query for just the information you're looking for with FHIR parameters. Find out more use cases by visiting particlehealth.com or getting in touch with one of our experts.
Okay, I know that was a bit long and technical, but that really can help illustrate good aspects of an explainer video. Did you notice how the video quickly explained what Particle does and the value that it offers? Even if you don't understand the acronyms, you can still get a general idea. Particle also chose to explain a bit of the how they work. Now, I normally recommend doing this in other videos and later videos, but showing the how was actually a good way to show the value. Also, from a visual standpoint, we kept the video simple, but with a constant flow of animation. The visuals helped keep the message clear and not overwhelm the audience. Even though there weren't noticeable breaks, there were small spaces, did you notice this? That let the message actually sink in because it was pretty technical. One more thing, did you see that the video wasn't made for the masses? I mean, if you saw this, would you keep watching it? I mean, the audience is very specific and the language matches that specific audience. You'll want to do the same. Yes, you'll probably want to err on the side of being broader if you have several target segments, but specific enough that people feel like you're talking to them. It's a balancing act. Okay, stay with me. We're gonna move on to our final script structure, testimonials. Now, I don't care what kind of business you are, you need testimonial videos. You may think that they're simple and hey, anybody can create a testimonial video, but honestly, I've seen plenty of poorly created testimonial videos. The testimonial structure can be very flexible, but there are elements that you're gonna wanna strive for. To start off, the best hook is with a powerful statement from that testimonial, something that the audience will really relate to. It's kind of like a teaser into what they're gonna hear in the full testimonial. I mean, this may be a little bit of a backstory or something of how they were introduced to the product or service, a little bit of context to help show why they're someone you should listen to. Then show what was the problem that the customer is facing and how they got the solution through the product or service that you provide. A great way to end is with the customer telling others to come on and see them, come in and try out this product or service. It's a good time to be able to say this made a big difference for them in their life. So let's take a look at an example.
So we kind of had a design in mind that she liked, and we just explained the style, what she was going for. I feel like he hit it right at the nail right on the head, like first try.
And it turned out like better than I had pictured. The way that he was able to like look at the different ideas we had and then come up with this amazing, intricate ring based on all of those was just, and it was like he pulled it out of his hat. It was just, he's kind of a visionary. Everywhere I go, people comment on it. They're like, oh my gosh, your ring is so unique, it's so gorgeous. And so I'm just super happy with him and all that he does.
Now I know this was kind of a longer version, but I wanted you to see a full version. Here you could see kind of a story that the customer's telling about where they were at, what was happening, what they were able to do and produce by working with Innovative Custom Jewelry. Typically what we'll do is we'll create a full version of a testimony video like this, then we'll create smaller versions, like a 60-second version and a 30-second version. And those can be tools to be used in marketing campaigns in different ways. Also, on a side note there, if we're filming multiple testimonials, we'll actually then take and create what's called a compilation video. So not only will there be a testimony video for each person that was filmed, but then we'll take the best parts of each and create a compilation. It can be a really powerful piece, and again, another tool in your arsenal for your marketing. Okay, I want to give one more example of a testimonial, and I want you to see this because this is more of a professionally done. What I kind of call this is the storytelling testimonial or the testimonial story.
I remember being lost. Like I didn't have any special talents or special abilities. Like I have ADD, you know, I was a dropout. I almost failed out of high school. But for me, it was like do or die. There was no other choice. My name's Jake Caston, and I own a Shopify store called Movement Watches. This year we'll do north of $20 million. I dropped out of college at 19 years old, so I had to figure out a way to make money at the time. And I was working at a valet up in Santa Barbara. Every time I get in a nice car, and I kind of visualize this being my car one day. I was thinking, this person who comes in this brand new Porsche or BMW, like what did they do to get to where they are? And am I different? Am I capable of doing that? And a lot of people told me not to do it, like watches. I'm gonna start a watch brand. It's not something that, it sounds crazy. It honestly sounds crazy to say that in this day and age, there's thousands of watch brands. 9 out of 10 people would have said it's a bad idea if I would have went to them, even successful entrepreneurs. Just start trying. Like that's the only way to do it. You can read a book, you can read blogs or listen to interviews, but unless you try, there's life lessons and entrepreneurial lessons that you won't be able to like write down on paper.
If you really want to make an impact in your marketing, you want to pick a testimonial that is the ideal customer for you. It's the ideal person that's gone from point A to point B using your product and service. So in this video, if you notice, they key up by really giving the backstory of this person and showing that they are just like you. They're no different than you. That's very relatable to the core customers that they're trying to attract to with that backstory. Then they go into the transformation of how that person went from point A to point B and how they're successful now using that product. This is really powerful. And oftentimes, if you really want to do this right, it's where you want to do a focused video shoot on that one person. Spend some time with them, film them in their different environments, get some shots of them so people get sucked in to the story and want to learn what's going on with this person. Now in this example, they use graphics, and that's kind of a simpler way or a cheaper way, so you don't have to spend as much time filming. It was easy for this person just to walk into a studio and be filmed. However, I've seen plenty of good testimonial videos where they cover and kind of follow that person through their transformation. And it's really powerful. Those can be some of your most powerful marketing videos as well. Okay, so we've covered 3 video structures. And believe me, there's more. I'm sure you can think of, well, what about this kind of structure? And what about this kind of structure? Now, I want to be respectful of your time, and I wanted to pack as much as I could in here. I have several more scripts that I can cover at a different time. Now I want to get into the scripting document that I promised you about, because now that you have the context of seeing, okay, I want to create a promotional video, I want to create an explainer video, I want to create a testimonial video. Now you can use this tool to execute on that and to further refine and help make that video a reality. So the first thing I want to explain is that this script document is based on Google Drive. You can get a PDF if you'd like, but on Google Drive is more powerful because then you can collaborate with your team. Again, the goal of this scripting template is to not only outline your ideas in a clear way, but then clearly communicate with your team so that everyone's empowered to execute correctly. So on this first page, this is typically for us at Socialize Video, we have to gather some basic information from our clients to be able to best understand them, what they're going through, what their goals are, to then guide them through this scripting process. So you can adjust this however you'd like, but I put in some core concepts here that you need to think about. So for example, let's say that you are a marketing professional and you understand your brand and your product, but you're gonna work with other freelancers that you've never worked with before that do need to understand your brand as well. So at the very first, under this branding headline, this is where you can put in a brand description, some branding elements that you think need to be included in this video, as well as maybe a link to a style guide that can help guide people. But honestly, more often than not, I've seen style guides not quite be enough to really translate over to video. So if you've used past video projects and some of those elements aren't included in your style guide, like the lower thirds, the bar that's at the bottom that has people's name, or like a video thumbnail or a logo animation or transitions that you've created before, reference those. You don't want your videos to look drastically different from one to the next. You want there to be branding consistency throughout your entire video process. It's also helpful to give a little bit of background about your brand. So give a little bit of information. Lower down, you'll see where we have target audience. And I'm just gonna kind of skip down there and explain, this is where you're gonna put in specifically which target audience you're looking for and you're wanting to talk to, maybe the specific segment that you're talking to. So if there's nuances on male, female, or they're in this situation or that, all of those things will help give the context that your professionals need to understand how to best execute throughout the scripting process. Again, this page is, we're just trying to lay out the framework and kind of get people on the same page. The most important thing that you can include here is what is the goal of the video. Again, often this gets lost. People will jump in to start making a video, and even if they do have a clear goal at the very beginning, they make changes and they kind of wander to where they get to a point where they're creating a video that's drastically different than what the original goal was set up for. So list down, what is it you're trying to accomplish? Why do you want to make this video? What should your audience feel or do afterwards? List those specifics out there so that it's very clear, and you can come back and reference this as you go through the stages. Now, logistics, that's kind of a catch-all place. This is where you need to include maybe people that are going to be part of the decision makers so that everyone understands, who they should talk to and who's going to make the final decision, as well as this is a great place to talk about size, location, placement of the video, because that context can help really well. So for example, if you're going to place this on social media and you want this to be a wide version or wide aspect ratio, a 9:16, the guy that's filming needs to know that so that he can film appropriately. If not, it's not going to fit on screen correctly. Or let's say you're going to do multiple sizes and versions. That needs to be known by your post-production people so that they're producing it correctly and they know what elements they need. Okay, so let's actually get into the scripting document. So what you'll see is a 2-column grid here. When we create a script for a video, each video will get this grid. So you're seeing one, and you can create as many as you need in one document. So for example, if we're doing one shoot at a location and there happens to be 30 videos, then we'll create 30 of these throughout the document. Each one has a simple title and then also has an estimated duration. Next, we're going to go and we're going to talk about the left column. This is the audio column. Now, if you're doing something with a voiceover actor and you are going to outline exactly what they're going to say, then you're going to fill in this column very specifically. This is the text that they're going to read. And keep in mind, if you notice, we want to put in 1, maybe 2 sentences in each box so that we can then reference later the specific visuals that will go with that particular section. So go through and list out different pieces, 1 to 2 sentences in each box. The other aspect is if part of your video shoot is you're going to be filming multiple people. Let's say you have to interview the CEO, the VP of operations, and the sales manager, and you're creating this video about what it's like working with your company. Well, in that case, you want to put in hopeful statements that you're looking for. This is where you're going to be thinking about, well, what should the CEO say versus what should the sales manager say? And you're going to put in those kind of statements and work with those people to figure out what those could be. So again, this is great for it being in Google Drive because you can then highlight and say, hey, take a look at this. Do you agree with this? Now, I don't always recommend people have to memorize this and say it, but one of the nice features of this document is, let's say when the CEO sits down to give this and he wants to reference it, you can pull out this printed document or pull it up on your phone and they can take each box at a time. Know this with video production that it doesn't have to be one person speaking the entire time. They can look at their document, read that. Okay, yeah, I got that. Here's my 1 or 2 sentences. Get it in their head and then say it. Then take a break for a second, come back down and move to the next piece. So that kind of editing is really common and it's easy to do. And so they can take it 1 box at a time to better execute. So it kind of takes the pressure off them. Now they can memorize it if they want, but we definitely don't want them to come across as red or monotone or those kinds of things. This scripting document I'll show you a little bit later also works well with teleprompters, but let me get to that here in a second. Now the right column, this is the visual column. Now what do we mean by visual? A lot of times people don't recognize, or maybe you've never heard of this, but we call it B-roll footage. The main footage of the person speaking is on one line. It's the A-roll is what we call it. And then layered over top of it is the B-roll. This is where if someone's talking about how they walked into a building and immediately felt something, you want to maybe show a clip of that person grabbing and opening the door and walking in. That would be the B-roll footage that would layer over top of the person speaking. Now, this is where you can outline what are those clips that you're hoping will be over top of what's being said, as well as graphics that may animate on or text that may come on. All of those things should be listed there and kind of brought up so that we then know what we need to capture when it goes to filming. So are you seeing how in this one tool, in a black and white fashion, you can go through and lay out a text, a script, and have an idea of what's being spoken, what's being said, how long will it be, and how will it flow, and how it will begin and end. Again, you get a good black and white version of what this looks like. And that's the goal of the script. You want to do this before you jump in and make a video and haphazardly make a mistake or forget something. You're setting out a really good plan. Let me show you a quick example of a script. In this one, this is particularly for a 2D animated video, so there's no live footage being filmed. It's just graphical elements being shown. The left column is clearly written out for a voiceover actor to read. Then on the right-hand side, you can see how ideas have been brought up, as well as people have been able to comment and make suggestions on how to adjust this and change those things so that we're getting what we want. Again, this is going to help save you a lot of time and money. If you were to take a project like this and get into the animation process and realize that, oh, I don't want to say that. That's the wrong way to say it. And yeah, that visual is completely wrong. Well, what happens is that you have to go back to the voiceover and get the voiceover to re-record that. You have to go back to the designer and get the designer to redo that. And then you have to get the animator to redo that. It makes a whole lot more sense to catch as much as you can during this stage and the following stages before you get to the end and realize you have to go back and kind of basically start from scratch for that one section. Now, there's more to this script document that can be really powerful when you move on to the next stages. So the next page, you'll see where we've got some homework there. Often when we do a scripting session, it takes more than one session. So it's really effective for you to list out and say, okay, at this stage of our conversation, so-and-so is going to do this, so-and-so is going to do that, and we're going to get more information so that we can continue the progress of the video. So use the homework section to kind of outline, hey, we need so-and-so to call this venue to see if we can film there. We need so-and-so to get this graphic so that we can see if we can use it here. Those kinds of things. On this next page, this is where you can take the final audio portion. Let's say you're going to have a voiceover actor or you're going to have actors actually read it. You can copy it from the script grid and put it here in a clean text fashion that can be pulled into a teleprompter so that you can use that when you're filming. Now there's a whole bunch I can talk about when it comes to teleprompters, but I don't have enough time. The other column here is where you can put out a list of different shots that you're looking to get during your film shoot. This is particularly important for your film professional. See, they're going to reference this list of shots, and this is where they can quickly pull up their phone and say, okay, did I get this, or I still need to get that? It's their quick reference. If you're not including things here, then you're not communicating with them very clearly. Again, this is a great way to set expectations and make sure that they're delivering what you asked rather than just in a passing conversation several weeks ago, you mentioned X, Y, and Z. Why aren't they remember that during the video shoot? There's a lot going on during those shoots, and it's important to kind of, again, clarify and just make sure we're all on the same page for what we need to capture today. On that same note, on this page, there's a really great video that you can share with the video professional that you select to move forward. See, there's oftentimes different video professionals at different levels of experience with also different preferences as to what's important and what's not. What this video does is it levels out and says, look, this is the quality level we expect. In these situations, this is what you should do. And also, if you don't understand that, here's references that you can use to gain an understanding. Because when you come onto our shoot, we expect you to solve things in a good way. Now, this is something that we use at Socialized Video when we contract with other video professionals all over the world, and it's helped clarify and help just make sure that people are on the same page. It's always good to have a schedule as well as to what you're going to be filming, when and where. So for example, when you're doing a film shoot, and let's say that at 11 a.m., so-and-so is going to come in to be interviewed. They're the CEO. Their time is the most limited. We need to be able to make sure that we're prepared for them. Well, when you're doing a schedule, you can then put in those core pieces and work around them. Now, you may be saying, well, I'm not a video professional, so how do I know how much time it's going to take to do this or do that? Well, again, this is something that when you pick that video professional that you're going to work with to do the filming, you can facilitate that conversation. Say, I want to outline a schedule. At 11 a.m., the CEO's coming in. How much time do you need to set up? How long do you think that interview will take looking at the context of the script? All of those things can be really well facilitated with that video professional. Now, a quick side note, your video professionals and the equipment that they use at the time of filming is a lot like an airline pilot coming and doing their pre-flight check before they fly. You don't want that pilot to skip that checklist. You want them to do what they need to so that you have a safe flight. Well, the same thing with your video professionals. When they come in, give them the time that they need to double check their equipment and get things set up. If you're rushing them and pushing them, obviously you're the client and they want to impress you and they want to do things to help you, but over pressuring them means that they will make mistakes. They'll forget things. There'll be things that won't go as smoothly as you'd like. So again, I just recommend that you be careful not to overrush them. On this page, we have what's called the call sheet. You may have never heard of it, that's fine, but it's actually pretty popular and pretty normal in the film industry. This is basically a document that helps everyone that's going to be involved in the production be on the same page. It lists out the time that you're going to be starting, when you expect to end, any breaks that may be included, the location, any cell phone information if you need to contact someone, as well as the weather forecast. All of those things you need to kind of consider before you go into a film shoot. Okay, that is the scripting document. Again, this is years of us working through these problems and finding solutions and finding ways to stay on the same page that we put into creating this document. So I hope you find it helpful for you. But if you don't yet, let me just kind of clarify one major thing. Imagine once you've gone through and you've scripted out your ideas, and now you're going on to the stage of finding a video professional to come help you do the filming. Or maybe you're looking for an illustrator or an artist that's going to animate your video for you. Either way, when you go approach them and you take this script and you say, look, this is what we'd like to create. Do you understand how clear that makes it for their job? How awesome that is? How much more helpful you're being than probably 90% of their clients that they're working with? It's pretty powerful. You can have much better conversations. You can be clearer on what the price will be. By the way, one quick statement you can use is when you talk to them and you say, do other clients provide you scripts? And they say, no, this is rare. This is really great. Then you can say, well, is there any negotiation in your price since we're being more effective, or we're working with you better, or we're providing clearer direction? Be surprised what they say. Because often these video professionals have to up their price because they're having to do sometimes things 3 different times because the client doesn't know what they want. Here you're coming with a clear direction of saying, this is what we'd like, help us produce it, and give us your best price. Now that doesn't mean that things aren't going to change. It doesn't mean that you've got a perfect plan, but you've got a better plan with this that's going to facilitate a better conversation. Okay, so now I'm running out of time. I did promise you that I was going to help you in hiring video professionals, and honestly, the script document does a great job in doing that. But let me give you just one other piece of information that will really help. When you're going about and you're asking video professionals to send in an application or to give you a bid on a project, do this one extra thing. Ask them to send you a link to a project that they worked on that's one of their favorites. Now, a lot of people don't do this, but what the power of this does is that you will be able to see more than likely where their passion lies. What project do they like working on? Because really, you want to find that video professional that is passionate to do the stuff that you want to create. So for example, if someone sends back a really, raunchy or moody or dark music video, and they say, yeah, I love that, that was great, and you're trying to make a fun, light, corporate video, there may be a disconnect. They may not be the right person for you. Now, it's not always the case, but it's something that it really helps you get a better window into their style and their passion. Mache Pest Control, they follow what I covered with you through this entire process. They went through the process of outlining a video message and working to script out a good plan. Then they were able to go and approach different video teams and local video professionals and ask them which one was the best. Once they selected the right person, they knew what location to find, what things they needed to do the filming. The filming only took 1 day. And then from this, they were able to work with a video editor to get everything edited and put together. So within a matter of weeks, they were able to get their new campaign up and running. Now, once this was all done, they were able to implement into their campaigns these new video messages. And what they saw was pretty amazing. Their overall ad cost, it went down. Social sites like Facebook, they gave them lower costs because their videos were more engaging. People were watching them and enjoying them more. They were also surprised to see that their general reach numbers also went up. Again, with more engagement, you get better numbers like this. Now they're on track to expand their business this season. And honestly, you can do the same with your video content. That's the power of using script templates like I've showed you, as well as using the script document. Now, honestly, if you implement what I've talked about in this video, you'll be miles ahead of most people. But honestly, there's much, much more that I haven't been able to cover in this training video. There's a lot of questions that haven't been answered. Like, what about these other video structures that I've talked about? Well, what about how do you really manage a film shoot? I'm still a little bit concerned about actually what are the ins and outs of the film shoots. Or maybe you're looking to have your own in-house team. How do you manage video editors? Are video editors all created the same? No, they actually have different personalities. How do you keep them from having burnout? That's why I'd like to introduce you to a full course teaching you step-by-step how to manage your entire video content process. We call it the 5X video effect. If you want to build videos that are higher quality, with better messaging, and more of that content at a lower cost, all leading to better marketing results, then you need to join the 5X video effect. My team at Socialize Video, we've spent hundreds of hours creating over 60 packed lessons, as well as PDF guides and exercises that show you exactly what to do in order to get quality video content. Let me show you and just walk through the modules real quick. In Module 0, I offer a pre-course that some of you may need. I show how to better understand your target audience through surveys, research, exercises. In Module 1, I cover scripting with all of my script structures and much more on how to effectively communicate your message. In Module 2, you'll learn the right video process and the style that works best for you. I mean, I've seen many people, they start creating video content only to quit feeling overwhelmed. I'll help you figure out what you need to do and what you can do what you can actually handle very first, and then expand from that. In Module 3, I'm gonna show you how to do the filming yourself, if you choose. Now, it's not for everybody, but for most, this is how you have to start. You pick up a camera and you have to hit press record. But before you do that, I need to cover some things so that you know what not to do and what to do so you're not wasting your precious time. Module 4 are for those that have or want to set up their own in-house teams. You want to understand the systems for not only managing your team, but also how to find the right kind of people, how to understand the different kinds of video editors, how to help them stay creative and avoid that burnout. In Module 5, that's for those people that want to just work with video production houses and freelancers. I mean, those people are separate companies, and working with them, you kind of have to speak their own language so that you don't get burned by them, so that you get exactly what you're looking for, so that you're able to communicate and help work through the process. Finally, in Module 6, I cover where you can use specific kinds of videos to be effective. I cover example campaigns, what works and what doesn't, how you can find the marketing machine that will work best for you. I know it's a lot. It's a very comprehensive course, and because of that, we're seeing success from the people that we teach. By adding video to our brand awareness and lead generation campaigns on LinkedIn, Overproof nearly doubled total impressions on Facebook campaigns. We saw an 11% increase in CTR. We're in a crowded market that's at a mature stage, so we're basically offering the same product as our competition. It's hard to stand out. Using high quality videos for marketing and support clearly creates differentiated value for our customers. Our videos support acquisition and retention no matter where our business strategy leads. Following the 5X video effect will not only help improve your marketing results, but make the process for getting videos made so much easier. You're going to avoid the painful and costly mistakes of going at it alone. Again, this is the accumulated knowledge of what we have learned over the last several years doing thousands of videos for other clients. You're also getting the worksheets, you're getting the templates, the examples. I'm also including a bonus that teaches specifically how to do 2D animation projects. Now, for a limited time, and probably the most valuable thing that I can actually offer you is access to me and my team. So let's say you have questions, you have a script that you want someone to review, or if you get stuck somewhere. In this course, you can reach out to us at Socialize Video and get an answer. You won't be left alone. Now remember, if you do a video shoot, the average cost is $5,000 to $10,000. And if you do something wrong and you mess up that video, not only are you out the $5,000 to $10,000, but let's say you do a slight something wrong in the video. So you get it produced and then you put ad dollars behind it, but it's not an effective video. You're gonna waste even more money. Do it right by using the 5X video effect. You should have an offer on your screen that you can click to get access to the course right now at a special discount. And while you're kind of still thinking about it, I want to answer some common questions that you may have so that you can think about things and then get maybe some of those specific things answered. So first of all, how do you get access to the course? Well, once you go through the checkout process and you click the link to enter your payment and details, you're also going to be making an account with Socialize Video. That account is how you're going to log into your course. You'll get the course link inside the emails that you get, and so it will direct you to where to go to the course. But a good URL to remember is just to go to socialize.video/courses to where you can see the course, log in, and get access to it. Okay, so what if you have problems or concerns? How do you get help? Well, any of our video professionals, they're well experienced in the process that we cover in the 5X video effect. So if you have questions, you can go on to our contact page and send us an email, or you can schedule a call with any of our video professionals to get some specific answers to your questions. Now, one of the big questions is, do you have a money back guarantee? And absolutely we do. We stand behind the quality of what we have for the 5X video effect. But if you get into it and you find that it's not answering the questions that you particularly have, if it's not giving you value, then yes, you have a 30-day money back guarantee. So just send us a note, ask us to give us your money back, and we'll send it back with no questions asked. Another common question that people ask is, what is the typical size of a video shoot? I mean, how many people are you having to hire to actually go out and do the videos? Now, to be honest with you, because of the equipment getting smaller, simpler to use, there's less people needed for these types of video shoots. And so you can actually do a shoot from anywhere from just one person to then having about a dozen people. Now, when you look at like Hollywood video shoots, they've got hundreds of people. And so that's kind of a different realm. And I don't really recommend looking into that for standard businesses. But if you're looking to do a decent quality job, you want to get several people that one person that's in charge of the entire shoot that can make sure that they're directing and getting the team to work effectively. That would be your director. The other side to it is to get someone that runs the camera, they can be focused on making sure what they capture in the camera is good quality. Being another person to capture audio separately and to manage the audio side of things is also very helpful. And then finally, having someone that can manage the lighting, if you're going to be in a lighting situation or need to be cautious of lighting, having that person there as well to manage that. The less people you have, then the more that's on one person's plate. Now, can you have one person come through and do some filming? Absolutely, you can. And there are times where we get one person to come in and they do a great job. They capture good audio. It just kind of depends on the circumstances. So that's kind of what you want to consider when you're thinking about doing your video shoots. Do my videos need to be funny? Now, this comes from, I think, because there's a lot of viral videos that are out there that are funny, that are comical. And that's kind of what typically people are looking for, is they want to go viral with their videos. But to be honest with you, the cost of creating that is quite high. Most people don't recognize how expensive it is to make a quality video like that. At the same time, it doesn't really drive extra value. See, the thing that I come back to in this training is that you want to push away people that aren't your audience. With a funny video, it's usually funny to everyone. And so, yes, will you get the views? Yeah, you'll get a lot of people. Will you get more exposure? Yes, you probably will. But you'll also be paying for a lot of exposure that you don't need. So keep that in mind when you're doing that. And do funny videos convert better than others? I would say that in the campaigns that I've seen, I've talked to other people, they don't always. They don't always. It's again coming down to what's most important for the viewer and then testing out what works and what doesn't. Hitting those pain points is more effective than making someone laugh. Another common question is, if you're in a situation where you're maybe a one-man band or a one-man person in your department that's making the content, and you're saying, well, maybe I should start building a team in-house. So should I have an in-house team or should I outsource that to other companies? That's a really great question. And here's what I would say. If on your in-house team, you have significant budget to put up front to purchase materials, equipment, and things like that, and also hire the right kind of people, as well as you have enough content and enough variety that's going to attract and keep people interested in your in-house team, then yes, build an in-house team. I would say that in some of my research, what I found is that there are creative individuals that originally worked at an agency. And traditionally, an agency is more chaotic. You've got one client going this direction, another client going this direction, and you're ebbing and flowing with everything. And so a person in that situation would think, well, I'm going to go work at an in-house job because I can just focus on one or two brands, and there's a lot more planning and execution and long-term thinking. And I like that, and I want to go that direction. And often they're finding that that's not the case. They find that in-house teams tend to be more disorganized. They find they are rushing on projects. They're usually overworked because they're being expected to do more than what their position was at the agency. And so there's many people that have gone from an in-house back to the agency because they've enjoyed that better. So again, if you can keep them busy with different things and keep it in, when I say busy with different things that are more of their specialty. So is the video editor full doing video editing? Or when I say full, are they video editing, then creating some motion graphics, then they going out and filming? That may not be something they enjoy doing. It's up to the person, it kind of depends. But also, are you prepared to create a management system where you're willing to support them with the resources and assets they need? If you're unable to do that because you're so stretched thin, then I'd be very leery of going into an in-house team. Now that brings up to another question. Well, what is socialized video and why are we here? And honestly, that's a great question because many people, when they have their in-house team or they're considering building an in-house team, the first people that they're adding on are usually higher level people. So for example, I was just talking to a marketing director where they have a creative director. They have a creative director that they just brought on, and they know that the creative director can come up with a strategy, some really great ideas. They can even maybe help do some execution, but they don't want them spending all their time editing, creating graphics, doing motion graphic design. It doesn't make sense for them to be doing that. And so they're more interested in finding a team that they can use to then create the content material that they need. So that's kind of what we're finding is that socialized video for us, we're kind of filling that niche. If you don't want to have to set up your own in-house team or you want to outsource the video editing, we're a great option for that. I mean, a good example is when you look at video editors, there's 4 different personality styles when it comes to video editors. So if you hire one personality, but the needs that you have at your in-house team cover all 4 of those different styles, that person's going to struggle in 3 out of the 4 areas. It's going to be tough for them. Let me give you an example. One type of style of editor is more technical. They understand the technical aspects of the video editing software, of the camera equipment, of nonlinear editing, of ratios and resolutions and bit rates and all of that kind of stuff. But what they lack is the creative flair. They're not the type that's going to come out with something really uniquely creative. They need to be more told what to do and have a linear way of thinking. On the other side, you've got someone that is more creative and more passionate, that they can create something out of nothing. And so they're different personalities. And the benefit of working with us at Socialized Video is that instead of you having to hire or be careful of those different personalities, you can just send your project to us and we can match it up with the right person. And we can make sure it gets done correctly through the process. We can make sure that if someone needs more direction, we give them more direction. If someone doesn't need as much direction, we don't give them as much direction. So it's something that is valuable in that regard, as well as instead of having just a video editor, you have someone that can do motion graphics. So we have illustrators that can illustrate for you. We have animators that can animate. And so you get a whole lot more for your money versus having to hire and manage your team. So it's up to you, but I have a whole section in the course that actually asks good questions about whether you should hire in-house or whether you should outsource some of those things. Okay, well, I'm going to leave it there because this video is long enough. Hopefully this has been a very helpful training for you. I look forward to joining the 5X Video Effect and seeing you on the other side.